Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to part 20 of this Baldur's Gate 3 Trophy and Achievement walkthrough. We are now officially in Act 2, we're on the ruined battlefield, and I did pick up Shadowheart and put her on the team. She's equipped with the Blood of Lathander, that legendary mace that emits light, and light is very important here. Right when you get inside this area, you can use this brazier to light it on fire, and then make sure you grab one of the torches. We're going to use the light from the torch to keep the darkness away from us, because these shadows will curse you and do continuous damage, and we don't want that. So who's ever leading your party, like your main character, make sure they're carrying a torch, and then Shadowheart will have her Blood of Lathander weapon to emit light and protect everyone else in the back row so that none of us get harmed from the shadows. We're going to keep walking around here. If you go over toward the left side after you get past this first wall of shadows, there's a bunch of things that you can pick up over there, not really related to any trophies, but you can go grab some more crafting materials and things if you want to. As we go across the bridge, you should have the opportunity to have a special conversation with Shadowheart.
The shadow curse. It doesn't seem to affect me like it does others. Not as badly, at least. Do you know what this means? I must be blessed. Lady Shah is protecting me where others are left to face her wrath. She loves me. She must do.
But what about me?
You're resourceful. You'll find a way. Don't give me that look. It's a good thing that I'm resistant to the shadows. This way I can help you. Lady Shah wouldn't bless me like this for no reason. There must be something she wants of me. Those signs we found about Dark Justiciars, perhaps they were no coincidence. In either case, I need to watch for any place dedicated to Lady Shah. A temple, perhaps.
After that little scene, we're just going to continue across the bridge until we get to the other side. Immediately turn toward the left, and you want to go up the little ledge here and climb up on top. There is another brazier up here that you want to use to light that up, and there's also going to be a brazier down below. You can see it right by the people who are walking down there. So I'm going to switch over to Shadowheart. She can use her firebolt, and we can actually light it on fire from a long ways away by casting firebolt down on the brazier. That's very important because we're going to be fighting a bunch of shadows very soon, and they hide in the darkness, but with these braziers lit, they won't be able to hide very easily. Well, let's run over here. We can grab a new thing called the Black Oleander, and then over here there is the Shadowroot sack. So grab those things and you'll be able to add them to your recipe list. Pretty soon we are going to be getting the Homebrewer Trophy by doing crafting 3 times and creating 3 things through the alchemy menu. So just be patient for that. We'll get to it a little bit later on in this video. Well, like I said, we're about to have a fight, so definitely go through and save the game, and then we're going to continue on around the path until we get a little cutscene.
Stay together. Keep to the light. Stop! Who's there?
My name is Masked Matador. Who are you?
First, come closer. Hands up. Jonas, move in!
Jonas! I'm here! Where are you?
Jonas? Can you see our torches?
I can't see anything! Something's wrong.
Follow my voice. Come back to the light.
Who's there? Meg? Is that?
There you are. Come. Join me.
Jonas.
Move. I'll take care of this.
Don't let it get hold of you. Harpers, now!
Alright, and here we have a fight against a bunch of shadows. When they get into the light, you can see them. Otherwise, they'll be hiding if they get too far away from the light, which is definitely why we wanted to light that brazier down below, because now we should be able to see them around here. Plus, if we're holding torches or the Blood of Lathander, we're able to see all around us, and that makes it really easy to keep track of these enemies, because if they disappear like they just did, it makes it a lot harder to know where they are, and then they can pop in for a sneak attack and then hide back in the shadows. Well, all we have to do now is just to start beating them down. It's pretty easy. If you are holding a torch, that will count as your main hand weapon, so you can do it. It'll do a little bit of damage, and then of course if you have a monk, you can always follow that up with some offhand attacks or some barehanded strikes, and that makes it pretty easy to just keep up the damage. These things don't have a lot of HP. They do some basic physical attacks. They can also try to drain your strength, but you can, have a saving throw on that one too. And it's not all in all a very bad fight, especially when we have very strong characters like Lae'zel, and we're able to basically just one-shot these enemies. You'll see that this one is blinded. It has a disadvantage, and that's because of the Blood of Lathander's ability to blind undead enemies in its presence. So definitely a good idea to keep Shadowheart with her Blood of Lathander kind of centralized to your party. That way anything that comes near your party will be revealed thanks to the light, and it will also be blinded and have a disadvantage against you. So we're just going to let this fight play out, and you'll kind of see what it looks like. If you ever need to close the distance between things, definitely keep in mind that jumping is a good thing to do. You should be able to get a really large jump and cover a lot of distance. It does cost your bonus action, but it's better to just lose your bonus action and get an attack in than not be able to attack at all. Right there, I did kill Harper Jonas. He is considered an enemy here, even though it says temporarily hostile. I couldn't figure out a way to kind of get around that. I tried to turn him using one of Shadowheart's abilities to turn the undead to our side. It didn't work that way. Even though I had killed off all the other shadows, he was still possessed and he had to die anyway. It also doesn't really matter if the other Harpers in the area die. I did have one of them die in this run. You'll see that in just a moment. But yeah, we're just gonna let this fight play out now, and you'll kind of see how it goes. Just make sure that you're always getting up close and personal with them, holding some sort of light, and that will reveal them. If they're hiding, just run around in the general area where you last saw them, and you should be able to reveal them pretty easily.
What path lies before me? Find a route.
Well, this shadow's currently hiding, but it will pop out, kill that Harper, so he unfortunately died, and then it went back into hiding in the shadows. But I have a good idea for where he is, just in that back corner there, so I'll run over here with the monk, and the torch will reveal where he is. I'm just going to do a couple attacks here, and we'll be able to finish him off and take him down. I believe that that would be 6 shadows in this area that you need to take care of. All of them have only 16 HP, so pretty easy.
Well done. Now we've got to move. I know a safe place. Give me your map. Keep your torch high. If you step into the shadows, you'll be felled in a heartbeat.
Safe place? You mean somewhere the shadows can't penetrate?
That's right. Protected by magic. Only spot in the region that's not been swallowed up by this damn curse. Light will save you here on the outskirts, but a few paces deeper you're screwed. If you want to catch your breath, the inn's the only place to do it. Hope to see you there. Harpers, move out!
Before we go on, we're going to get a trophy or achievement related to Shadowheart. If you'll remember from a few episodes ago, we were able to talk to Shadowheart and earn her trust enough that she told us about her favorite flower, which was a Night Orchid. If you go just north of this battlefield area where we fought the shadows, you can find a Night Orchid on the tree. So go over here and grab it, and then when you talk to Shadowheart, you'll have the option to give it to her, and doing so will get you the trophy. So now let's choose to talk to Shadowheart and get that trophy.
May the darkness protect you.
Remember when you told me Night Orchids were your favorite flowers?
Rings a bell? Why?
It just so happens I have one right here.
Oh, hells. You didn't pick that by hand, did you? They're deadly poisonous. Joking. They're safe. And beautiful. Thank you. I don't have anything to give you in return, I'm afraid.
It's just a token. I don't expect anything in return.
Well, perhaps I can come up with something later. All the same.
I don't have anything more important to say to her, so I'm going to choose to leave, and then when the dialogue closes, you'll get the trophy called To Bloom in Darkest Night. In the same area, there are a couple more of the Shadowroot sacks, so go ahead and grab those. You'll want at least 3 of them so that we can use them for our alchemy trophy a little bit later on. And now we're going to head back to the main battlefield area. We have a couple paths that we can take. We can either hang out a little bit more toward the right side or the left side. I'm going to go left first. I'm going to show you where we can start a new kind of side quest. This isn't related to any trophies or anything, but it is one way to get a little bit of extra experience. We are trying to get up to level 12 by the end of this playthrough, and that will give us the ability to get another trophy. So we want to take on some side quests. I'm not going to show them all, but this is kind of an interesting one that I thought was worth pointing out to you. This wooden chest on the way has a little bit of gold in it, so feel free to grab that if you want to. Now we're just going to keep running down the path here. You'll see that there's a lit campfire on the way. That's how you know that you're on the right path. And just keep going up until you get into a cutscene where there's a man, a necromancer called He Who Was, and his white raven pet.
Where lies your guilt?
The waning moon.
What's going on here?
You walk in the darkness unafraid. How curious. A fair point. Perhaps this one could assist us. The murdered lie silent. The raven asks, will you be their voice?
Depends. Who murdered this woman?
She is not the victim. Nay, she is the perpetrator. This woman tended a bar where she took her patrons, her friends, into her confidence, promised their secrets were safe with her. Yet she turned their words into knives and stabbed them in the back. They died because of her, and to this day her victims lie unavenged.
She's dead. How much more can she pay?
Death is not the end, merely another beginning. I seek a record of this one's crimes, written in her own hand. Through it, I can summon her spirit and force her to face trial for her crimes.
Why would you do that?
My reasons are of no consequence. Your soul sparks with justice, with fortitude. This is your chance to bring a murderer to justice, to avenge her victims. Will you take it?
I will. What must I do?
I thank you. as do those who died by her words. Go to the distillery, the one she calls the Waning Moon. Find the ledger and bring it to me.
After that, let's continue heading along the path just ahead of us and over to the right-hand side. There's a little bit of a bridge here, and there are some enemies on the other side of it, so let's do a short rest real quick just to get our health back before we go on. You can grab this wooden chest on the way if you want to, nothing very important inside of it, so we're going to keep heading down this path. As we go forward, there is going to be a signpost at the end of this path here. That's the point where you need to be careful because there's going to be enemies in this area. So go forward, you're going to get a perception check. Hopefully one of you succeeds and then you'll be able to see the enemy, but even if you don't, you can find them if you look carefully enough. So there's one inside the bush right over here. We can actually target him before we can see him. I'm standing right next to him. He's just right here. So we can go ahead and start off the fight on our terms. If they do ambush you, all of your characters will probably be surprised, and that means that they will get a free turn of attacking, and we don't want that. So let's start off by fighting this guy here. When you kill these little guys, they will explode and do damage to everything around them, so make sure that your characters aren't too low on health and too close to the enemy when they explode, otherwise when they die, you will probably die as well. There's also a large guy here, but he's not too hard to take out, especially with Lae'zel. With all of her turns, including the action surge ability, we'll be able to do lots of damage and to take him out, and she's actually able to kill 3 enemies in the same turn, so it's really good for us. Of course, that little one exploded and did some damage. Now I'm just going to move up a little bit. We can get a good view of them up ahead, especially when we have that Blood of Lathander being able to illuminate things, and we'll just kind of fight them off here, and then I am going to skip forward toward the end of the fight just because this is kind of a long fight. There's just a couple little guys around here, and they're just kind of all situated up top here. So I'm just going to skip ahead at this point, and you're going to see what happens at the end of it when they all kind of congregate together. So here they are, 3 guys close to each other. I killed one, he exploded, and it just kind of caused a chain reaction where they all killed each other. That's kind of cool, but it did a lot of damage to me at the same time. So I've got 3 characters who are almost dead. I'll just take a short rest and then recover from that. Now, if you are so inclined, you can climb up the ledges here. There's going to be a wooden chest, so we're going to choose to pick the lock on this one. It does have a skill check of 10, which is pretty easy to get past, especially if you have bonuses. And then when you open it up, you'll see that it has a couple items for us. Number 1, it's got a decent amount of gold, and it also has a couple of these specialty arrows. So go ahead, grab all of those if you want to, and then we can continue on down the path here. Let's keep heading down the path on our left-hand side, and when we get to the end of it, we'll turn toward the left again, and then we'll be able to run down the path until we see a raven on the ground. We do want to interact with it. Even if you get the Arcana check to succeed, it'll tell you not to mess with it, but we're going to because there's some very easy trophies that we can get using this raven. So when you interact with it, you'll be surprised by a bunch of ravens coming at us. Now, luckily, because we have the Blood of Lathander near us, all of these things are blinded, so they're not going to be able to really hit us here, and they only have 1 HP, making them very easy to get rid of. And I want to show you a couple quick trophies that you can pick up here if you haven't done them already. Number 1, you can definitely get the Action Surge trophy here. There's just all of these guys, they're very low level, and what we can do is using Lae'zel, we can try to get 5 attacks in one go. So we're just going to do 1 normal attack here. Now we're going to use our bonus action to do another attack. Now we can use our pommel strike to hit them again. Now we're going to use action surge to replenish our attack, and then we'll attack again. And then finally we will use our next bonus attack to do 5 attacks in 1 turn. Another thing that we want to do is to use the improvised melee weapon skill, and that's going to allow us to use one enemy against another one as a weapon. So when you use the skill, it'll tell you what do you want to use, hit triangle, and then you're able to select one of the enemies and then target another enemy. You're going to have a little athletic skill check, but if you pass it, you'll grab one enemy and smack another enemy with that one, getting you the kill 2 birds with 1 gnome trophy. Very easy to do. Now, if you were to drink some alcohol before this, you will get yourself drunk, and there is a trophy for killing 20 enemies while drunk. This is a good way to get a head start. If you drink and then use the repulsor skill, that's one of the illithid powers, you're able to instantly kill all of the enemies in the area because they only have 1 HP, and you're guaranteed to do enough damage to all of them. So a really nice way to clear out all those enemies very quickly and get a ton of experience at the same time and work on some trophies. Well, let's head down the path here across the bridge.
This place is protected. Must be the refuge the Harpers spoke of.
Shadows here. Something must be keeping it at bay.
You there! Step forward and keep your hands off your weapons.
Easy. He's with me.
Come. Jaheira!
Just this once, I wish people would simply say hello.
Hello.
I saved your soldiers, and this is the thanks I get?
Kindness is too often a decoy. This is why we're here, you see. It is a curious creature that hides all manner of secrets. But if there's one thing that we know, it's that it knows its own kind. You should never have come here, true soul.
Look to the Harpers you saved.
Stop! What are you doing? He's the one who saved us!
He's the one who protected the Emerald Grove.
Yup. Didn't leave a goblin standing. Not so bad to hang around with either. Saved 2 of my friends. One from a harpy, and one from a mad druid with a snake. Didn't make a fuss about thieving either. I pretty much trust him with my life.
A true soul with a mind of his own? How is that possible?
Because of this artifact, show Jaheira.
What in the hells is that thing?
Tell Jaheira everything you know about the artifact.
Congratulations. You've earned yourself the benefit of the doubt. Hear me, Harpers. All clear. At ease. I'll not pretend to understand what that artifact is. But I'm old and wise enough to recognize a sliver of hope when it crawls out of the dark. Tell me, why have you come here?
To destroy the Absolute in its lair, Moonrise Towers.
Then you found an ally in me. For that is precisely why I am here. There's food in the inn over there. Beds too if you require rest. Aloe oil in the cupboard, in case the vines gave you a rash. Settle in. Then come join me for a drink. You may just be the godsend we've been praying for.
And you can see Karlach wants to talk to us, so let's talk to her.
Oh my god, soldier. That's Jaheira. The Jaheira.
You know her?
Not personally. I mean, I wish. She's an absolute legend. Years ago, over a century, Jaheira was part of a group that saved Baldur's Gate from Saravok, a Baalsport trying to plunge the city into war. My mum used to tell us stories about them. The legends who protected the city from evil. She said Jaheira was a powerful druid. Adamant. Tough. I've told myself those stories 1,000 times since. I never thought I'd meet Jaheira. She's a hero, and I was always some outer city kid. Can't believe she wants to talk to us about working together. What a day!
Okay, let's continue on inside of the Last Light Inn. And then if you stick toward the left-hand side, there's a merchant over here. Let's talk to Quartermaster Tali.
Stock up while you can. I only hope I've brought enough to see us through.
Persuasion. Anything I could take off your hands at no cost to myself? We have a skill check looking only for a 10 here. Very easy to pass. And if we do that, then we're going to get a free supply pack.
Cheeky. But, since you're asking...
We want to talk to her one more time so that we can see what wares she has. We're going to sell off a lot of stuff that will give us some money. We're also able to lower the weight that we're carrying, and we can buy some cool things like the Mighty Cloth. This is a new piece of clothing for our monk to wear. It doesn't technically count as armor, so that we can keep up our bonuses for being unarmored. And we're also able to buy things if you want to, like the Yuan Ti scale mail, and there's also the Cloak of Protection that I would recommend picking up for your monk as well, so you can get a little bit more armor class and +1 to saving throws. So I'm just going to go through the armor that I have after I've equipped everything. Put the Cloak of Protection on, the Linebreaker boots, the Mighty Cloth is now equipped, and also the Bracers of Defense and the Amulet of Misty Step, so that I can just move around the battlefield a little bit easier. Once everyone is properly equipped, we're going to run across this courtyard area, and in the other side there's going to be the Tiefling Daemon, who is the guy who works on Karlach's heart. So let's go over here and talk to him.
That odd ox made it through the shadows.
Karlach! I thought you'd be in the city by now. We were ambushed by cultists. Half of us were captured, the other half ran here.
Off the anvil into the forge. We'll find them. Hopefully.
Before you run off into the belly of the beast, there's something I need to tell you. Well, two things. Good news and bad news.
Give us the good news.
I only need one more piece of infernal iron to craft an insulating chamber that can make it possible for Karlach to...
Touch people!
Exactly!
Oh my god. It's really happening. It's been so long. We've got the iron. Let's do this thing!
Hang on! I think you'll want to hear the bad news too.
Yeah, sure. But first, fix me. Please.
Go on, give him the iron. Let's make this happen.
Well, all right. This shouldn't take long. Same as last time. You'll need to install it yourself. This should do the trick.
So did it work?
Only one way to find out.
Pull her into a hug.
Thank you. I can't believe it. Thank you, Damon. Thank you so much.
It's the least I could do. Before you go, there's something I need to tell you. That engine of yours, it's contained for the moment, but it's just too hot to exist here in the material plane indefinitely. I know you know that, but the thing is, there's a cure. I wasn't making any headway with the mechanics, none at all. The environment here is just too cold to sustain metals like the ones inside you. You have to return to Avernus. For good. Or this thing is going to burn you up from the inside out. And sooner than you think.
The minute I set foot back in Avernus, Zarya will force me back into service. I'm not doing her bidding again. I'd rather die.
I get that, but don't rule it out. The world just might be better with you in it. Even in Avernus. I won't stop trying to figure out a cure, but at this point, I think we all have to face the inevitable.
First things first, Karlach, you have touchback. We ought to celebrate that.
Right? All this doom and gloom. I have something far more exciting on my mind than this bloody tin box. Thanks, Damon. Really. You've given me more than I could ever repay.
It's been my pleasure. Good luck, both of you. Look after yourself, all right?
If you're in a relationship with Karlach because you started the romance with her in Act 1, then when you talk to her here, she will have a little bit of a different dialogue than my sequence, but let's talk to her and go through this.
This is the best day. The best day!
I'm so happy for you, Karlach.
I'm so happy for me too. Now I just need to find someone to cuddle up to tonight, and I'll be the happiest woman on the Sword Coast.
So this is really where it differs. I'm going to say anyone in mind. She won't respond favorably toward me, but if you're in a romance, then she would respond favorably to you.
I'm not sure. Depends who's got me in mind. Withers was giving me the old eye the other night. Then again, maybe it was just an old eye.
And with that, we're going to choose to leave. Okay, after that, what we want to do is talk to Damon again.
It's you. What are the odds? So glad you're all right. Well, as all right as any of us. A makeshift Harper's fire might not be where I hope to set up shop. But maybe I've got something you can use anyway. And if you find any interesting materials in need of working, I'm happy to help.
Interesting materials? What do you mean?
I hesitated to mention this back in the Druid's Grove, for obvious reasons, but no one has earned my trust if not you. When Elturel was dragged into Avernus, I was drafted into a devil's smithy. It should have been awful. But infernal metal is like a wild horse. Powerful, exuberant. It'll kill you if you lack technique. I can sense some. Smell it almost. Somewhere in the area. Underground, maybe. Out there in the shadows. If you find it, bring it to me. I'll make something incredible.
I think I found a material you could work with. What can you make of it?
Absolutely. Rare to get your hands on this stuff. Well done keeping it to hand. There you are. And be careful who you show that to. It might draw the wrong kind of attention.
And for that, we get the Flawed Helldusk armor. Not as good as the real Helldusk armor, but it's pretty good. Because I'm a guild artisan, I also get an inspiration point and a little bit more experience. So let's check out exactly what that armor is like. It does have a slightly higher armor class than the adamantine scale mail. It also has lesser infernal retribution. When you're hit by a foe within 2 meters, it might take 1 to 4 fire damage, and we take 1 less piercing damage. So I am going to go ahead and throw that onto Lae'zel, and then I can move the adamantine scale mail over to Karlach, and that will just give her a nice piece of armor as well. So Karlach has a little bit of a boost to her armor class. We also reduce incoming damage. When a melee attack hits us, the attacker is sent reeling for 2 turns, and attackers can't land a critical hit on us. So everyone has a nice new piece of armor, and we're going to head on into the inn, which is just around the corner here. So let's run inside, and then over on the left, as soon as you enter, you can grab a trap disarm toolkit, and there's also a potion of invisibility that you can pick up. Those always come in handy at certain times. Now let's run over and we can find Jaheira by the table and we can talk to her.
Please, be welcome. Have a drink.
Oh, my gods.
To your very good health.
Medicine. Smell the wine first. Here we have a skill check looking for a 10, a pretty easy thing for us to pass.
You perceive a faint hint of cloth grass, a herb that is said to elicit the truth. Jaheira smiles at you knowingly.
It doesn't spoil the taste, if that's what you're wondering.
If you want to keep earning Karlach's approval, you can just choose to drink the wine.
Bottoms up. Well over a century old, and yet it hasn't lost a hint of flavor. Still not quite so sure about you, though. People tend to lose more than just flavor when illithids get their hands on them. I speak from experience. There's an air about you. Something alien. Answer me true and do not lie. The parasite is changing you, isn't it?
Yes, the parasite is giving me powers I never had before. It's changing me for the better.
Look around you. Good men, good women. Stranded here, 2 feet in the grave. If we're to survive, I have no choice but to trust you. Can I?
You can trust me.
Good. Because I'll cross your heart myself if you break it. I have every reason to be cautious. I've traced people like you. People with parasites in their brains. All the way here from Baldur's Gate. The cult of the Absolute is spreading through the city. Quietly, quickly, and with unsettling deliberation. We tracked them to this ancient village, only to be faced with a man we killed and buried over a century ago.
Is he?
General Ketheric Thorn. Remember that name. He's the leader of the Absolutists. He was a Sharan once. Took to building an army of dark justiciars beneath this very village. Alongside the local druids, we made it our business to see him deposed, dead and buried. But he's returned. Not only does General Ketheric Thorn live again, it seems he is no longer mortal. He has become, in fact, invincible. We met him on the road here, commanding an army of the Absolute, intent on destroying Baldur's Gate. I put an arrow through his eye myself, only to watch him pluck it out like a splinter. He healed right in front of me and chased us into the shadows. Things looked hopeless, but experience has taught me that no matter how bleak things look, there's always hope. You are that hope.
You think I can kill him?
Not immediately. Protected by your artifact, You can infiltrate his forces at Moonrise Towers, posing as a true soul. Find out what it is that makes him invincible, so we can strip him of his advantage. Once Ketheric is without his shield, the sword, together we assault his tower and put a final end to this blight.
Ketheric's days are numbered. I'll make sure of it.
Without a cure for your infection, your days are numbered too. Yet you selflessly offer to spend them fighting alongside us. I like you. I promise I will do everything I can to make sure you survive this. Any cure starts with understanding the disease. Whatever magic Ketheric's using to control these tadpoles, it must be at Moonrise. Until then, we keep drinking wine when we meet.
How do I reach him? The towers are surrounded by shadows.
You're not our only secret weapon. Isobel, a faithful cleric of Selûne, and a light in the darkness. She cast the moon shield around the inn. It's the only reason we're still alive. She's upstairs in her chambers. Tell her I sent you, and she'll see you through the shadows safely.
At this point, I went back to camp. I took Lae'zel out of the party. I put Astarion in the party because there's a special thing that we can do with him in the party in just a moment. And I could also take a long rest. At this point, you might be able to get a special romance scene with Karlach if you are romancing her. So that might happen to you if you take a long rest. But now we're going to examine the table right next to Jaheira. There's a book called On the Greater Healing Potion. So we're able to now craft a Greater Healing Potion. And we're going to get the Homebrewer Trophy by going into the Alchemy tab from the menu. You want to hit R1 to go over to the extracts, and you can go down the list and just create the ones you want to. But I'm going to choose the option at the top to extract all ingredients. That will just do them all at the same time. And then I'll hit L1 to go to the Solutions tab. Now I just have to go down the list and choose any 3 that I want to. So just choose 3 of them, and as soon as you craft the 3rd one, then you will get the Homebrewer Trophy or achievement. It's okay if you don't get this trophy now. You can do it at any point throughout the rest of the game. So if you don't have enough ingredients now, that's fine. Just keep an eye out as you go through the world, and eventually you'll have enough to get that trophy. Now let's go through the archway, and Raphael is sitting at the table over here. And because we have Astarion in our party, we can get a special scene when we talk to Raphael.
It's good to see you again. I'd ask if you've made any progress with your little problem, but the telltale twitching of your eye is answer enough.
I'm fine. The last thing I need is your meddling.
You wound me. I've only tried to be a friend to you, just as to the poor souls here where hope hangs by a single thread. I can mend it or cut it, depending on what they ask for. They're not the only ones ripe for temptation, you know. My last contract here fed me for decades.
You're not responsible for the curse, are you?
Please, I would never leave such a mess behind. Far too much attention for so little gain. I never surrender knowledge for free, but one good turn deserves another, does it not? To repay you for the souls sent my way, I offer a taste of the truth. Ketheric Thorm, proud father, man of faith, utter fool. On the night the Harpers sealed him away, someone murdered his entire army in cold blood. Now who would possibly benefit from such a massacre? If you want to know more, I could work the exchange of such precious knowledge into the terms of your future deal. But the time for quibbling over clauses and contracts hasn't quite arrived. You'll be limping back to me soon enough. Not with you, at least. Although I sense there's something your friend wants to ask me.
I do. I have a proposal for you.
A proposal? If you're hoping to taste my blood, little vampling, think again. It burns hotter than wyvern whiskey.
This is serious business, devil. Well, a long time ago, someone carved some runes into my back. I'd rather like to know what they say.
What are you talking about, Astarion? What scars?
You haven't told them? And you've kept your clothes on this whole time? How unlike you. Why not let them see? Don't be shy.
God damn it.
Don't worry. I'm motivated to help you. Scars often tell such wonderful stories. I think yours might be truly exquisite. I'll see you soon.
Well, now you know.
Why didn't you tell me earlier? I could have helped.
Perhaps I should have. I'm not exactly used to asking for help and being met with, well, help. But what's done is done, so how about we stop talking about it and just get on with things? Although I should probably get dressed first.
I was a little bit surprised to see that the game automatically dressed Astarion. I switched over to him thinking that I had to re-equip all of his armor, but it turns out that nothing really changed on him, so that's good. Now I'm going to go back to the main character and run over here. We can talk to Barcus Wroot, who we've had a few run-ins in the past before, and we want to talk to him one more time.
Ah, you.
Hello, Barcus. How are things?
How are things? How are things? Well, I've been through worse. I'll soon be off to Moonrise Towers to look for my friend, Wulbrin. I understand you might be headed in that direction as well.
I have reason to believe the seat of the Absolute is in Moonrise.
Oh, joy. More cultists. I'm sure I'll have no problem locating Wulbrin and skipping out of there, hand in hand.
I'm going to Moonrise Towers too. Why don't you let me look for him?
You wouldn't even know what he looks like. Then again, my track record is, well, discouraging.
Then it's settled. You stay here, I'll search the towers.
That's very decent of you. Very decent of you indeed. But I won't stand idle. I've spotted an alchemist's scales, and had already been cooking up a little something that might help against those cultists. I'll get to work on the brilliant retort. You get to work at the towers. Deal?
What's the brilliant retort?
A new type of smoke powder. All the bang and boom of the original, but with an extra surprise. Guaranteed to end any and all arguments or protestations.
Deal.
Very good. Very good. Very good indeed. Now, you, off to your heroism, as it were. Some of us are counting on you.
Well, now we're going to just head back to camp real quick, and we're going to take Astarion out of the party and put Karlach back in the party. So right now, the team consists of the main character, Karlach, Shadowheart, and Lae'zel. We're going to go back to the main area, and I'm going to split off Lae'zel and Karlach from the other two party members, and I'm going to stage them in a certain place to make the next fight a lot easier. So with Karlach, I'm going to actually move her out of the building. We're just going to put her right out here in this entryway. And now I'm going to take Lae'zel and I'm going to move her kind of down the way here over by this bar area. You can see that Rolan is over here, just kind of right in that area. And now I'm going to take the main character and Shadowheart, and we're going to go up the stairs here. This is on the same side that we saw Raphael and Barcus Wroot. And now we're going to run around the top part to the other side, and we can actually go into these double oak doors. And when we go inside, we'll see that we're in Isabel's room. On the left-hand side, there is Isobel's diary. Go ahead and read that. We're still on pace to read 100 different things as we go throughout the game and get a trophy for that. And then you do want to save the game here because we're going to do a fight, and we need to save all the Tieflings, make sure that they all survive this next fight. So now let's go outside and talk to Isobel.
I didn't realize I had an audience. The true soul who's going to save us all. I'm Isabel. Pleased to meet you.
And you. I've heard you're the protector of this inn, the Banisher of Shadows.
Myself and Our Lady are doing what we can to hold the line. I hear you and your tadpole will be our offense. Free from the Absolute's influence, yet able to walk among cultists. It's almost too good to be true. But I'd be a poor cleric indeed not to avail of a blessing when I see one. Let me guess. Jaheira sent you to beg a protection spell off her favorite cleric.
It hurts.
Perfect. It'll make you immune to the lesser effects of the Shadow Curse, which will get you closer to the towers. But there are places it won't help. Places where the curse is darker, stronger. The cultists are able to traverse even the deepest shadows, though. I don't know how. The Harpers are trying to figure it out.
Selûnite magic. Dark Lady, forgive me.
Good nose. Like a nasty little terrier.
Anything else I should know before heading off?
Ketheric is a frightening man. But you have something he doesn't. Allies worth having. While you're busy in the towers, I'll be sure to... Wait. Do you hear that? Something's wrong.
Hello, Isabel.
Marcus, is that you? What's happened to you?
I've been blessed. You can be too. Come with me, and you can hear all about it from Ketheric himself.
Isabel, do you know this man?
He's a flaming fist. Or was. Came with the others when we created this haven.
And I thank you for your hospitality. True soul, my instructions are clear. Take the girl to Ketheric, alive.
Wisdom. Probe his thoughts for more information. Here we have a skill check looking only for a 6, a very easy one to pass.
A haunting face swims into your mind's eye, its instructions vivid in your mind. Nothing is more important than bringing the girl alive.
What's going on? If you have something to say it.
Marcus is trying to kidnap you, Isabel. We're going to need to fight our way out of this one.
Pathetic. The Absolute sees all. Your treachery will be punished.
The Absolute. Of course. You can't believe them, Marcus. Ketheric will never give you whatever it is you've been promised.
He already has. Time to go, Isabel.
Here we go with another large-scale battle. We have a couple people up here in Isabel's room. Our main goal is to keep Isabel alive. We do get a couple inspiration points and some extra experience by making the choices that we made, so that's all good. Ultimately, what we need to do is keep Isabel alive and also all the Tieflings around here, which is why we moved our characters into the position that we did. So down here, we're able to take Lae'zel and run around, and we're able to take out this enemy very easily on the ground floor. And then also there's going to be one over by where we put Karlach right outside. So they will kind of play defense for the characters down here, and that will really free up all the characters in the bottom to be able to live without much fear of getting killed. So very important to place those characters down on the bottom floor here. Otherwise you have to move them out and try to jump down, and that would just give the enemy a couple turns to do some damage, and you might accidentally lose one of the Tieflings. And we definitely don't want that, because a trophy definitely depends on it. So make sure that you get through this fight, taking out all of the enemies and keeping Isabel and all the Tieflings alive. Basically, just keep everyone alive and you should be good. You do have a lot of help in terms of all of the yellow NPCs on the bar at the top of the screen, so they will join the fight too. They are not helpless at all. They can actually do some decent damage for you, but we shouldn't really need their help because we're pretty good the way that it is. So let's just keep on going through. We want to try to stun Marcus as best as possible. That way he's not going to do a lot of attacks. There are a couple of those winged horrors that are outside as well. So clear out the ones on the ground floor, keeping the Tieflings alive. Take out Marcus and any of the winged hordes up top, and then move outside. It's not a difficult battle, so I am just going to kind of skip around a little bit here just so that you can see the location of all of the enemies, but it shouldn't be difficult for you to eliminate them just in 1 or 2 turns. Isabel will join the fight. She can turn the undead so that they won't be attacking us, which is nice, and she can heal herself to keep herself alive. And if you look outside, you can see one of the winged horrors out there. We do need to eliminate that one before the fight is over. Now, I did skip some of the NPCs' turns because they're not very important. I'm going to take Lae'zel using that long jump. She can get a lot of distance here, and that allows her to attack the enemy and take them out. And now, really, everyone inside the building is pretty safe, so I'm doing a great job of keeping those Tieflings alive, and now it's just a matter of mopping up everyone else.
Death won't take me yet.
It's Shadowheart's turn, and I want to show you the special spell that we get because we have the Blood of Lathander equipped. It's called Sunbeam, and it is really powerful. It's a level 6 spell, and it fires out a beam in a straight line ahead of you, so you get to aim it wherever you want to, and then it does between 6 and 48 damage, and it also inflicts the blinded status. So a very powerful thing, especially if there's a lot of enemies in a straight line. You can pretty much just obliterate all of them, so just make sure that you don't hit your characters as collateral damage, and you should be okay, but that'll do a ton of damage to whatever is in their path. So now we're just going to continue on. We do have a lot of NPC turns here that I'm just going to skip until it's back to our turn again. Lae'zel has an amazing jumping ability, so you can just hop right up to the second floor if you want to, and go intercept any of the winged horrors that still might be in this area. If you're not able to reach them, if you have a ranged attack, that will work pretty well too. Otherwise, you can use Misty Step to get right up next to him and then attack from there.
On the move.
Okay, Marcus is down. If you loot him, you can get a Great Club +1. He also has the Shifting Corpus Ring and a Mind Flayer Parasite Specimen if you want to keep growing your Illithid powers. Now all we have to do is take out the remaining enemy. He's just outside the door here, so we just have to go over there, open up the door, and then finish him off. I legitimately cut out 3 minutes of extra footage here just because it was the NPCs taking their turns. There's so many of them and they didn't contribute a whole lot to the fight, but now we've concluded the battle and we can continue on. The first order of business is to put our team back together. As you know, I split Karlach and Lae'zel off so that they could defend the bottom floor, but I do want to put everyone together so we can travel together and leave no one behind. Speaking of leaving no one behind, we need to make sure that all of the Tieflings survived that fight and Isabel was not captured and sent to Moonrise Towers. If she was, then the protective barrier over this place would fail and the shadows would come in and kill everyone, and that would cost us the Leave No One Behind trophy. So let's come over here. All of Mole's friends are here. Now Mole was abducted. That's okay, we'll get her back later, and we should now talk to Rolan.
We won't even have to go out into the shadows to die now that the cultists have found us.
Want to talk about your sorrows instead of drowning them?
I'd rather drown than talk to a sanctimonious prick like you. If you're here to save the day again, you're a little late this time.
What's wrong? Can I help?
Oh, sod off! I'm only here because you helped me and my family. I was ready to cut and run back at the Grove, but you had other ideas. Karl and Leo are taken in by your crap. You convinced them to play hero, and now they're gone.
Do you know where they are?
Dead for all I know. Or in the cult's tower with the others who were taken.
If they're alive, I'll rescue them.
They're my responsibility. You go save the world. Or your own arse. Or whatever it is you do. I'll fix this.
Well, as Rolan mentioned, his siblings are at Moonrise Towers, and we are going to go rescue them a little bit later on. Also, we have to rescue Rolan, who goes off and tries to be a hero, but he winds up in a sticky situation, and we need to save him as well. So we will be rescuing their whole family, but that will come at a later part. So I am going to end the episode here. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please hit that like button, and also consider hitting that subscribe button if you want to see more episodes like this in the future. I'll see you very soon for part 21. Until then, thanks for watching and have a good day.